Today's DraftKings breakdown is going to look a lot different than the one we did on Tuesday. We've had a couple of drops, a couple of opponent changes, and this whole thing looks very, very different. Look at all of this red we got going on here. So what we're going to do, Danny's back, and we're just going to talk about a few of these fights, a few of the player values, who we think is a really good value at that price point, who might be overvalued, and a couple of solid picks. So I'm just going to sort by salary here, Danny. So let's talk about a few of these. So I'm going to talk about Sarukian right out of the gate. Honestly, $9,600, ton of money, but the dude's a savage on his feet. He's a savage on the ground. I think this is a complete mismatch. These odds are correct. The DraftKings price is correct. I imagine he's going to be in everybody's lineup, but I 96 it is a lot, but I think he's worth it. I mean, he's just so freaking good everywhere. I absolutely think he's worth it, and this should be a showcase fight. And if we click on him very quickly and we scroll down here, he scores a ton of points. Even in a loss, he had 60. So the dude scores a ton of points. He's worth every dollar he's ever had. And look, his loss is against Islam Makhachev. Okay, the one dude you couldn't out-wrestle that nobody will out-wrestle. So I think he's a solid pick there. Danny, what do you think of Montel Jackson versus JP Bays? And Montel, $9,500. I think that's the biggest trap on the card.
Yeah. Listen, that could either work out really well for you. I think Bays wrestling could negate, a lot of what Jackson could do to score points. I mean, there could be a lot of back and forth in terms of wrestling. There could be, transitions. One guy gets on top, the other guy scrambles out. A lot of that may not add up to a lot of points. So I don't like Jackson at $9,500. I wouldn't put him in there. But he could get a knockout in the first round with a big shot. You never know. But I just think Bays is a little undervalued here. I'm going to dig into the tape tonight. But yeah, I think Bays wrestling can negate a lot of the potential scoring that people think Jackson is going to do.
I completely agree. So I think Montel Jackson's probably the safe pick to win the fight. He's definitely proven that he's well-rounded, proven he's dangerous. But we've seen him lose to wrestling game plans. We haven't seen JP Bays execute a wrestling game plan yet. We've just seen the one fight and he was knocked out. But if you watch his fights before the UFC and if you listen to him and you look at his camp, he is a good wrestler. So I have to imagine he's got the right game plan, going to do the right thing and just start diving at legs. And even if he loses the fight, I don't know if Montel's going to be worth $9,500, right? You got to earn over 100 for that to be worth it. So I don't know how I feel about that. We've broken down on Monday all of the other expensive ones. I'm just going to talk very quickly about Gravely, then we'll talk about a couple of the new additions. So Gravely at $9,200, this is a tricky one to me because I think Gravely wins the fight, and I think he wins by wrestling. Wrestling is 5 points a takedown. If we pull him up, I mean, look at his takedowns, right? 4 against Burchak, 7 against DeFreitas, 5 against Johns. The dude scores decent points in his fights. And, if he wins this, I mean, he got 5 takedowns in a loss against Johns. So if he wins this fight, there'll be a ton of takedowns, 5 points each, and I imagine he scores a bunch of points. With that being said, Maness is very good, and $9,200 is a lot of money. What do you think?
I like Gravely in the fight. I think he wins via takedown city. I've been wrong about Maness in the past. I was not that high on him a couple times, so I don't know. I got to see where my lineup pans out. I like Gravely in the fight. I do have a bet on him. I don't know if I'm going to put him in there for $9,200 because unless he gets a finish, the takedowns might not be enough, and you never know. Maness could be improving a lot, so we'll see. I may look to add him in there if I really, really think he's going to get like 10 takedowns, even in a decision. Okay, I'll probably do that, but $9,200 is a little expensive.
Yeah, I agree. Let's scroll down. Obviously, Dakota Bush dropped. When Dakota Bush dropped, we got ourselves. Where is he? Come on, Brandon Jenkins. Brandon Jenkins at $6,700. We're not going to have any stats because it's his UFC debut. $6,700. That is so cheap. you can afford yourself a Sarukian and another 9,000 plus fighter, sneak in Brandon Jenkins, and you should be okay. What I like about Brandon Jenkins, I broke down that fight, so check down that individual video. So first of all, and I'll let you talk about Zhu real quick, but Zhu Rong is legit good. He's got very good striking. He's a very good fighter. He can mix in takedowns if he needs them every now and then. But Zhu likes to dictate. He likes to come forward. He likes to settle into a rhythm and execute his striking that way. And somebody like Brandon Jenkins is kind of wild. Just comes marching forward, throwing big stuff, throwing crazy, working like that. I think he's going to have Zhu sort of out of sorts, not let Zhu settle in. It is short notice, but short notice goes both ways. I'm not saying I'm going to put Brandon Jenkins in my lineup, but I am saying at $6,700, that dude fights. He fights hard. He's on a 3-fight win streak. I don't think that's I don't think it's a bad pick. So we'll see what I do with it. But my question to you, Danny, I did the breakdown. I said Brandon Jenkins just fought 3 weeks ago for PFL.
I was going to say, it's not really short notice. I mean, it depends how hard you go after your fight, but 3 weeks he fought. I mean, 3 weeks ago he fought. He's going to be in shape.
Well, so I mentioned, and listen, you're the professional fighter, not me, but I've seen some of you guys immediately, the week or two after the fight, you do nothing, no training, just relaxing. You just fought. You're going to hang out with friends, do all the things, get some drinks, all the things you couldn't do for 8 weeks leading up to it. I actually feel like 2 to 3 weeks after a fight is the worst shape you're in. And then 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, you get back into your rhythm, you start going back up. So, I mean, am I crazy for thinking that?
Two things, and I'll just give a couple actual examples. But first of all, the times are different right now. When I was fighting in the UFC, I knew I probably wasn't going to fight again for 4, 5, 6 months. So when I'd want to fight, I'd go to Connecticut. I'd see all my old friends. We'd drink. We'd eat. I'd be an absolute, slop for 2 weeks. So yes, you come back to training after 2 weeks of that, you feel awful. I don't even know that it's you're out of shape. Your body's just been
it's in shock. It went from healthy,
right. So that's part of it. And if it's only a week or two, and then you start training again, to your point, then 3, 4, 5, you feel pretty good. Nowadays, though, short notice fights are like the thing. And if you're a guy that's in the PFL looking to get into the UFC, you finish your fight, that there's a good chance you're going to get a short notice call. So I would hope guys are staying in shape. I would never do nowadays what I used to do after a fight, even if I was in the UFC, because just short notice fights are a thing now. So, and then the other funny thing is so let's say for sure he wins his fight, he's going to rest. He's not going to go back to train. Maybe he does. I don't know, on Monday, but generally take a week off. The best I've ever felt in a fight, I got sick 3 weeks out, and I used to train a lot. I used to go there 3 times a day. Looking back now as I'm older, I realized I probably did overtrain. I used to tell myself overtraining is not a thing. It is. And anyways, I got sick 3 weeks out from a fight. Literally, I was trying to go in and hit the bag. My Conan was like, dude, you have a fever and you're sick. You do not need to be hitting the bag. Go home. And I just literally took probably a week and did nothing, just laid in bed. And then it was time to cut weight, so I couldn't do much harder at that point. So anyways, I was nervous going in the fight. The best I ever felt. I felt absolutely unbelievable because I took that rest a few weeks out. So I don't know. It could be one of. I don't think conditioning is going to be a factor, assuming he's not going on a bender immediately after his last fight.
Yeah, and I don't know him well enough to know if he's a gym rat or not, or what the circumstances are. But that was just something I thought of. And then also quickly, he made weight no problem. It was Zhu Rong that had the issues making weight, which is funny.
I know.
So, and we've talked about that before. A last-minute opponent messes with both people. I mean, you've trained for a person. You're ready to fight a specific person. That person drops. You don't know, am I going to get an opponent? Is my fight off? What's happening? What am I going to do? Oh, here's somebody else. Should we take it? Should we not? So, it messes with everybody. So anyway, you mentioned earlier in a different video that Zhu looks fantastic. He's at American Top Team doing the right things.
Right.
So you like him in this?
I'm not down there much anymore. I'm traveling a bunch, but I talk to the guys, and Warren, he's tough. He's been there for a while, and he works hard, and he's good. So I expect him to win this fight, but I definitely think at $6,700, Jenkins is probably worth more than that. And Zhu Rong, they're both a deal. Geez.
This is what's amazing with Zhu Rong. My famous DraftKings rant. They valued him at $7,600 because he had a tougher opponent.
Right.
And now all of a sudden he's got a last-minute opponent. They don't change his value. He's a massive 3-1 favorite, and he's priced as a big-time underdog. So if you're on it, then he's a great person to have in your lineup.
For $6,700, that is dirt cheap.
Honestly, and I think it's a war. I don't think someone's getting put out because, what's his name? Brandon Jenkins is tough, really tough. So even if Zhu is getting the better shots, making stuff happen, Jenkins is tough. So that's a couple of the big-time favorites, a big underdog, and I think Zhu's a good middle-of-the-road guy. We'll take a look at one more middle-of-the-road.
Think about this. Just because, remember when we used to double up main events?
Yeah.
This would be a cash game strategy only, probably, right? So 2 undervalued guys, double it up. I mean, imagine how much. I mean, you could do those 2, and then probably the top 3 most expensive, and still be good.
Well, it's interesting because the average fighter, if you look at any other fight, they purposely value the fighters so that they're each $8,100, right? If you add it up and divide it by 2, it's $8,100. So when you double up a main event, you're basically saying, okay, I think I get $8,100 worth of value out of each guy. So I'll put them in my lineup. In this case, it is not adding up to $8,100 each. So you really, what's 76 and 67 divided by 2? That's the value you're trying to cover in a cash game if you do them both in there.
You're getting both of them for basically $71.50.
So if you think that either 2 of them together, you'll get $71.50 value, so $7,100 value, then it's only 3 rounds instead of 5, but I think I was gonna
say the 5-round thing is also a big component to doubling up, but I don't know. Interesting for a cash game lineup.
Yeah, it's definitely a cool dynamic. The last one we'll look at very quickly is where is he? Where is he? Come on, buddy. Where are you? Where'd you go?
Sound like you're talking here like lost dog or something.
What'd you say?
I said you sound like you're talking to like a lost puppy.
Come here. Come.
Yeah, exactly.
I
mean, I don't know where you're going, but I'll tell you right now who I like for a value is Ryan Spann at $7,100.
Ryan Spann at $7,100 is good value. I think Anthony Smith wins, but he's the odds are super wide on that fight. And I was going to mention Rodriguez over Chukwi. So Chukwi is nasty when he takes the time to fight. He's so gun shy that it gets frustrating at times. He's moving up to light heavyweight for this instead of middleweight where he belongs. Mike Rodriguez, he's also a striker, but he mixes up all his strikings, and he's not all his striking, meaning kicks, punches, like he's diverse, and he's not gun shy. I mean, how many times have we seen Chukwi fight and we're like, what are you doing? Throw a punch, make something happen. He's just too hesitant. He can grapple if he needs to. I don't see that happening here, but Chukwi's got more power, but he doesn't really use it. And Mike Rodriguez, I think he can stay at range, and I think he can get this done. He was my pick, and in DraftKings, he's only $7,400. I think Mike Rodriguez is a solid play at $7,400 against a gun shy Chukwi.
Did you bring this one up deliberately just because you knew how upset I'd be about Mike Rodriguez? Pull up his history again real quick. That Marquez fight. Oh my! I put way too much faith, and by faith I mean money, on Mike Rodriguez against Marquez, and I swore after that I will never bet on him again. I probably won't use him in DraftKings again because that was just, I don't know. If you're not going to say anything nice, don't say it at all. I was very, very surprised and disappointed with the outcome of that fight, but. Yeah, I'm not touching Mike Rodriguez in this. So yeah. Anyways, don't bring him up again. Thanks.
Well, yeah, I didn't mean to trigger you. So that's our quick look, some insight on a couple of these fights, the last minute replacements, some good value, some less expensive fighters, some more expensive fighters. Let us know your thoughts on this card. And don't forget to join our free DraftKings League. We Want Picks has a free league. It costs you nothing to join, nothing to play. And we give out money to the winners because we're just trying to grow the channel and make things happen. wewantpicks.com/DraftKings. Jump into a link. If you are a member of the channel, we give you $60 this week. $60 this week because last week's winner, Joe Todoro, said pay it forward. Become a member, join the free league, and we'll see you on Saturday.